are complaining, we are making excuses, and we do it every day because it feels a lot better to shit on somebody else than look at yourself and shit on yourself. And by the way, this is one man's point of view. I don't look at anybody else. I have no fucking idea what you guys are up to. And I shit on myself every day. I critique everything I do. Everything is my fault, period, end of story. I can sit and dwell on all the things. Somebody hits me with a fucking car tomorrow, I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have left the house that early. You get into that fucking mindset, I promise you shit changes. You need to fucking suffocate your bullshit. You're at this conference, that means you need to suffocate your bullshit, period. You either need to figure out who's holding you back and their judgment and go to them. I want you to get out of this fucking conference, go to your car, call your mom and say, fuck you. If she's the person that is suppressing you because she's miserable and misery loves company. I'm being dead serious with you. I understand it's not a popular thing to say. I understand, but there's only a couple things that I'm seeing in the world today, which is people aren't doing things because they're fearful of other people's judgments, which usually comes from parenting or environment or circumstance, and they're still keeping negative energy around them because they're obligated, and I get it. I have negative people in my life too that I keep around as well, but to let that dictate your only life is fucking ludicrous. And all I know, you know what? I'm gonna give you a real weird one. I want every person to do me a huge favor. If you really wanna know what's running through my fucking body, go volunteer at a nursing home for one day. Go volunteer at a nursing home for one day. Number one, it's just a nice thing to do and you'll probably feel pretty awesome about it. Number two, go talk to 8 people. 6, 4. You're gonna see something that is gonna scare the living shit out of you. It's called regret. Regret scares the shit out of me. Regret is the fuel besides gratitude that drives my life. You will see people and they will tell you things about the things they didn't do and the silliness to why they didn't do it, and they're running out of time. You sit in this room and you have time. You have time if you're 70, 80, 90, you have time if you're 15. You have time. But to sit and list all the reasons you can't is just, here's how I look at it. If anybody that looks like you has ever done it, then you can too. If some kid that grew up with 2 alcoholic parents, right, and grew up in an orphanage made it, then you can too. It's not necessarily that I don't believe in luck or circumstance, I believe in all of that. I understand that. This is not about that, it's about mindset. The second you start having losing mindset, you've already fucking lost. I love when people think shit like The Secret is real. It's not fucking real. Here's how it works, friends. If you actually are optimistic and you make a goal and your actions map to it, you miraculously get somewhere close to it. It's not sitting on your couch jerking off and saying, I wish I had $1 million. The amount of people talking big game in this office, clearly I use that a lot. The amount of people talking big game at this conference right now, where their ambitions don't match their actions. You know how many people roll around here and say they're gonna make $100 million a year and then take the whole weekend off and they have nothing going for themselves yet? Do you know how quiet my head is? Do you know how quiet my head is? My head is super quiet in here. You know why? No voices allowed. No voices allowed. Not my wife's, not my kids, not my business partners, not my parents, nobody's. I'm in it for me, in my own mind. The reason I can give so much to everybody else is because I'm good, because I'm in it with myself, period. End of story. And I've been talking about a lot of things, and the reason I'm going further down this rabbit hole of tune out everybody else is as I've gotten to know people, I'm like, oh, they're scared because their partner makes fun of them all the time. Like it's just very basic behavior, right? It's very basic behavior. And so I just don't want that for you anymore. Like, has anybody realized, guys, it's 400 trillion to 1. The odds of being in this fucking room right now is 400 trillion to 1. The fact that your mom and dad had sex at that exact second to create you is fucking insane. And we are wasting it away, and I just don't want you to do that. Mainly Because I get a high off of the email that you send me in 6 years about this suffocating conversation. Content and distribution. Content and distribution. You have to make stuff. Figure out what kind of content producer you are. Are you good at writing? Are you good at talking? Are you good in front of video? Everybody thinks, oh, video's the answer. Video's not the answer if you suck on video. Can you talk? Can you write? Are you charismatic in front of a camera? All three are tried and true. Video, written word, audio, they play forever. Figure out which one you're good at and go deep into that. Everybody's trying to make you fix all your shortcomings. Fuck your shortcomings. Triple down on your strengths. It is your biggest advantage, period. Leave this conference, figure out first what you want to sell. Actually, before that, figure out what you want your life to be. Do you really want all that money? Do you really want all that? What do you want? Figure that out, then figure out what you want to sell. Your time, your service, a product, I don't care, a festival, but figure out something you believe in that you sell. And then finally, number 3, figure out how to let the world know about it at the lowest possible cost. Today, if it's under 30-year-olds, that's Instagram influencers and Snapchat ads that are $3 CPMs. Everybody writes off Snapchat because Instagram copies all its features. That's exactly when I went all in on Snapchat the last 3 months, and I'm buying awareness at a price I've never seen before if the person's under 30. Be a practitioner. I get a lot of accolades. Yeah, Gary, why do you think I do all this content? So I do it. I built my personal brand not necessarily for the brand halo effect, to keep me in check, to always be on top of shit. I'm in the green room right now, tweeting and texting and consuming and creating content. I'm putting in work every day, work. And I know the nuances of a filter and a geolocation and the copy of a Facebook post. Like, everybody's talking about this stuff doesn't work. No, you don't work. So if you have ambition, if you fucking came to this conference, you clearly want something. So if that's the case, how do you not have 30 hours to go do research on how to do this shit for real? I'll give you a free resource on how to post ads on Facebook, how to find influencers on Instagram, how to do Snapchat better, how to do LinkedIn better. I'm gonna give you a free resource right now. You guys ready? Here it is. GOOGLE. You want something? Go fucking get it. It's called search engines. How do I post better on Instagram? Enter. My friends, I'm being serious. I know it's funny, but I'm flabbergasted by people hitting me up. Gary, how do I get a, I want to apply for, I saw you literally this snap on the way to this. Gary, I saw you hiring content creators. How do I do that? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You go to Vaynerchuk.com, asshole. And you apply. I mean, like, why do we need, you have to self-start. You have to self-start. If you believe like I do, that mobile devices have the consumer's attention, and that Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, podcasts have the percentage of time. And by the way, this is not a debate, this is data. They own it. Besides games and utility, it's social networks. You may not like it, you may not like that your teenage girl duck faces 24 hours a day. It doesn't matter, because I've got news for you. Your 44-year-old sister's duck facing too. It's 2017. What do you think's coming next? Are you ready for augmented reality? Are you ready for machine learning, for AI, for messengers, for VR? I mean, look, how many people here are retiring within the next 10 years? And I don't mean you're gonna crush it and buy a fucking island. I mean you're old and you're fucking finished. Raise your hand if you're retiring in 10 years. Understood? Okay, for the 21 of you, you can take some of this with some level of grain of salt, but for the rest of you, everything I believe in, everything that is converting and creating your business opportunities in today's world did not exist 12 years ago. All of it. Not Facebook, not smartphones, not YouTube, not Snapchat, none of it. What do you think happens next? Can you imagine if I told you 10 years ago that you would prefer your teenage girl to take a drive with a stranger than drive herself? Would you believe that? We are living through massive social norm changes. Remember how weird it was to online date? Not so much anymore. We are living through massive human shifts. This is the biggest culture shift since the printing press. The internet is only roughly 20 years old in being a consumer product for all of us. This is just starting, and the level of disrespect or the level of, it's kind of something, the unbelievable nature of you not becoming ridiculously educated in this shit blows my mind. You cannot have the audacity for ambition in the future world without putting in hundreds of hours of homework to the nuances of how to create communications and distribute them on this device. You're ass out if you don't do it. And I don't want outsourcing to nieces, and I don't want fucking bullshit excuses, and I don't want to hear that you're not good on camera, then fucking write, Rick. I don't care. But you need to fucking make a decision today. Are you gonna allow yourself to buy bullshit programs for the rest of your life and come to shit like this? Or are you gonna finally fucking eat shit and do something about it? Are you gonna fucking pretend? Are you gonna pretend you're a business person because it feels nice? Or are you gonna become a business person? Paying your big to look the part is a great business for other people. Eating shit for a decade and doing it for yourself is a good one for you. In that eating shit decade, if you actually get smart and stop fucking judging every new thing that comes along, and you know what's so funny to me? What's so funny to me is people that get fancy. Let me end with this, fancy. Fancy fucking excites the shit out of me. The amount of people that aren't where they want to be and say, well, I don't have time for Facebook. I don't have time to learn another app like Snapchat. Yet, you're not winning. I don't get it, my man. I don't understand. You're not where you're at. You'd rather spend thousands of dollars on dumb shit to somebody teaching you some fucking secret that doesn't exist than you spending the 40 hours to learn the newest thing, even if it dies. Let me tell you the story about Social Cam. Social Cam came out 6 years ago. I spent fucking 50, 60, 100 hours on it, figuring it out, right? That's what I did. It worked for about 4 months, and then the whole thing collapsed and nobody gave a fuck about Social Cam. Waste of time, or in those learnings on a mobile first video platform, did I learn what made me bet on Vine? Number 2, I bet on Vine. Vine comes out. Everybody's like, who gives a fuck, 6 seconds video, stupid. I'm like, not me. I'm gonna learn everything about this. I'm gonna be friends with everybody. What happens with Vine? Does pretty good. I start an agency representing a bunch of talent with Jerome Jarre. We make a couple bucks, but I learn. What happens with Vine? Dies. But what happens next? Instagram video. And what happens in the last year for me on Instagram video? The last 4 years of me learning mobile first video dynamics on 2 things I wasted my time on, even though I had hundreds of millions of dollars, I wasn't too fucking fancy to put in the work at 2 o'clock in the morning because I'm fucking hungry and I back it the fuck up. Then Instagram comes, and then I hit pay dirt. 6 years in the making, a whole lot of losing along the way, but learning my craft. Learning my craft. I end with this, my friends in Utah. Do you actually know what the fuck you're doing? Are you actually putting in the work? Do you really want this that bad? Or do you want to make it look like you want it that bad? I challenge you and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.